So really quickly, we're going to talk a little bit about the guide tones on our St. Louis blues, this 12-bar blues in F. So guide tones fall under the umbrella of chord tones, and so if theory is new to you, don't worry too much about it. This is just if whatever key we're in, and so in a blues we have a home key. In this case, we're in the home key of F. It's the sort of blues dominant sound. And so if we're finding our most important notes of each chord, we need to be able to find the root, the third, the fifth, and usually the seventh. This is the dominant seventh. So if you're going up your major scale, it's not the major seven, it's the lowered seven. So in a concert F major scale, the lowered seventh scale degree would be an E flat. So to find the chord tones, we're just playing scale degrees 1, 3, 5, and flat 7. So on an F7 chord, it's F, A, C. So the most important chord tones, we have the root is going to be played by the bass player. We learn that root melody, but the chord tone that's going to tell us whether the chord is major or minor is the third. So in this case, that's an A. And then we also need to find out what the quality of this extension is. In this case, we have a seventh. And so we need to feature that as well. So the third and the seventh, so starting on an A and an E flat, those are going to get us all the essential information that we need for the chord. We don't really need to worry about the fifth or even the root, because that's going to be happening quite a bit from the bass player, whoever's playing the bass line role. So the thirds and the seventh, these are what we call guide tones, which are part of the set of chord tones, okay? So these guide tone lines are meant to be anchors for hearing your way through an improvisation. And so we can go and play improvisation based around the root or based around the fifth, but we're going to be a little bit more colorful, and especially as you transcribe and learn some different improvised solos, you'll see that the improvisers often emphasize and start and land their phrases not only on chord tones, 1, 3, 5, 7, but especially on these guide tones. Those give it a lot of color and a lot of the spirit of the chord. And so we're going to learn these little melody lines that weave really easily through a blues. First off, we're going to start on the third and see where we can take this one that's going to use the smoothest pathway, meaning I'm not jumping all over my instrument. I'm probably going to try to move, just in whole steps, half steps, maybe minor thirds, and create this little pathway that's going to give us either a third or a seventh of each chord. So if that, is a little bit of a fire hose of information, don't worry about the theory, just learn these melodies just in the same way you learned the root melody, the same way that you learned the melody, and it's going to come in handy, especially in your improvisation. The third of our F chord is an A, so everybody sing that. And then we need to go in bar number 2 to a B flat 7 chord. So that A is not going to sound great over the B flat 7 because it is the major 7, and we need to get it so that it becomes the dominant 7. And so we need to pick a note that is going to be either a third or seventh from the next chord. So it needs to be, that's the root, that's B flat, either D, not F, we're going to leave out the fifth, or A flat. So the next guide tone needs to be either a D or an A flat, and if we're coming from an A, the easiest thing to do is just go down a half step so that go from being on the third of the F chord to the dominant seventh of the B flat. So this is called smooth voice leading. So this melody on the first four, this guide tone melody on the first 4 bars sounds like this. 2, 3, 4. Do, 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 do. So it just goes for concert A for a bar, A flat for a bar, then back to A for 2 bars. 2, 3, 4. So that gives us the third of the 1 chord, then goes to the seventh of the 4 chord, back to the third of the 1 chord. Guide tones. All right, now we go to bar 5. We have a chord that we've heard before. It goes back to that B flat. So our guide tone just shifts back down. So bar 5, 2, 3, bar 6. All right, we need to go back to a chord we've already had before. The guide tone just goes back up. It just toggles between A flat and A. All right, so the next 4 bars, A flat, 3, 4, A flat, 3, A natural, A neutral. All right, our turnaround, we need to get something that outlines a C7 chord. So we're effectively in this different key area. So we need to find a guide tone that is going to line up well and give us one of these guide tones. So our chord tones, 1, 3, 5, and 7 of are C, E, G, B flat, and the guide tones, the 3rd and the 7th, are E flat or B flat. So what is going to be the closest to where we were with A? We just go up to B flat. All right, so when we get our C7 chord, that's where our guide tone line goes. So the turnaround sounds like this. This is bar 9. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do, do, then it goes back to do, do. So there's only 3 pitches that outline and go along with these different 3 chords. So if we hear this guide tone line all the way through, I'm going to play it with the root melody in my left hand. Just hear what it sounds like. Try it with me. So it just goes, it's concert A on the F chords, concert A flat on the B flat 7 chords. Then it goes back to the 3rd on the F chords. Then we go to the C7 chord, goes up to the 7th, which is a B flat. All right, try it. 1, 2, 3, and 2, 3, 4. Flat. Great. Okay, so as we know, these chords have 2 guide tones. They have the 3rd and the 7th. What happens if we start a guide tone line that now starts on the 7th of our home chord? So that is going to be a concert E flat. So that goes from being the 7th, and now we need to go to the B flat chord and find something that is, we just go down a half step to get the 3rd. So it goes from an E flat to a D on our 4 chords. So I bet knowing those 2 pitches, those are the only pitches we need to know. Let's see if we can figure out our way through the first 8 bars, because it only uses either our home chord of F dominant 7 or B flat dominant 7. Let's see if we can do that. So it's just either going to be E flat over the F chords or D over the B flat chords. Try this. First 8 bars, the guide tone line starting on the 7th. 1, 2, ready, go. 2, 3, 4. Down to D. Back to E flat. Bar number 5. Down to D. Back up. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, and okay. Now we need to find something that gives us either the 3rd or the 7th of our C7 chord. Remember, the chord tones are C, E, G, B flat, and the guide tones are E or B flat. So we're up here. We can just go up a half step in this case. Give us a concert E, which is the 3rd of C7. That's another guide tone. All right. So we know what's going to come next. C7, C7, and then back to F7. So try the last 4 bars, the turnaround. 1, 2, starts on E, go. 2, 3, 4, 2, 2, back down to E flat. 3, 4, 2, 2, 3, and okay. Again, just 3 pitches, and it follows this nice little half-step cluster. Can you play through the guide tone line that starts on the 7th? I bet you can. Let's do it. All right, I'm gonna do it down here. 1, 2, the 7th is E flat. 2, 3, D. E flat, E natural, E flat, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, and great. All right, and you might also notice that if the line starts on the 3rd, it doesn't go to the 3rd of the next chord, it goes to the 7th, and then it goes back and forth. So they flip-flop. So the 3rd, 7th, 3rd, 7th, and if it starts on the 7th, it goes 7th, 3rd, 7th, 3rd. All right, it toggles back and forth. So learn this just as the same as you learned the melody, the root melody, guide tone melody is going to give you all of these great landing and jumping off points for your improvisation. So make sure you have that down and have fun practicing. Thanks.